A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to the channel Twin Flame Union. This is part 2 of the channeling Divine Masculine completely and wholeheartedly acknowledges Divine Feminine, and I know that there has been some gap in the channelings that I'm doing. So I can now say to you guys, and you can also observe that it's very spontaneous how these channelings come, and also a lot of the channelings were pre-recorded, like the one that came from 16th century BC. That one was made like in 2018. So you can imagine some of the channelings were pre-recorded and I have been sharing them. There has been some kind of energy shift. Something has happened in 2020 and I always knew it because I had predicted that as well 7 months ago. And as I said in part 1, that many divine feminines are going through this type of shift, because let's understand that everyone is on an individual path, which means that even though the core feelings are same for most of the divine feminines, but the situations that are playing out are very different. And at the same time, what is the karmic debt they have, and if they have volunteered. So people who volunteered are different than people who have karmic debt. So those who volunteered, they knowingly and intentionally got into very difficult family templates. So they created karma while being on earth, the same karma which they built up during the childhood and adolescence. The same karma build up more karma, and then it's about dissolution of karma. Now, this is a very important procedure in any ascension journey, because when you're born on planet Earth, your memory is completely wiped out. So you have to find your way back home, and this is exactly the technique that applies to everyone, be it gods or goddesses, be it saintly people, be it anyone. When they come to planet Earth, they have to find their way back home. And this is also seen in the incarnation of Sri Ram, where he had to fight Ravan. He had to go through a series of situations which required him to give up on all the the riches and all the things that most people think that a king should have. His wife Sita also, who was born as a princess, she also toiled herself in the soil, and she also did all of the things that the husband was doing. So despite being kings and queens, they lived like ordinary people, and they probably had more difficulties presented to them on their journey. And why do I keep talking about Ram, Sita, Shiv, Shakti and Radha Krishna? Is because all of them are very, very important in the twin flame journey. Understanding their life can actually teach you a lot, especially if you're here for your mission work. Now, I do get people who ask me about the mission work. Now, I have to tell you that mission work is the actual reason why, for what you're here for, and the reason why you are in the ascension journey. Because when you're in the ascension journey, as long as you're suffering, it's a different thing. But when you start healing, when you start doing inner work, you will realize that you will attain a lot of peace. You will attain a lot of courage, a lot of power, a lot of strength, and you will start seeing all the illusions as illusions. You would be able to decipher. That will actually make you feel like a person who can see through the drama the way others cannot see. And when you are able to create your own energy from within, when you integrate with source, what happens is that you no longer depend on outside parties for help or for validation or for love. Everything actually starts generating within you, and it's an automatic process. So once the chakras are open, all the energy chakras are open, and the energy starts flowing from your root chakra, from your Mooladhara to your Swadhisthana, when it is flowing like a free flow, then you are actually going to be living a natural life. Now, that does not mean that you won't face problems, and I have said this before many times, I think, that things will happen. But it's like you are on a next level, next level, next level, next level, and there is so much to do. People who experience nirvana or nirvanic state or enlightenment, even they have said this, that it doesn't stop at nirvana. Nirvana is basically a point, it's a place from where you can see everything clearly, and it sorts of prepares you for all the upcoming challenges in life so that you are 100% sure, you have faith. Like, even if you're in a very difficult situation which looks like horrible to others, or it might look upsetting to you also, but when you have tackled it with faith, with belief system that you are protected and you are going to handle it well, after the situation is over, then you will actually see the real lesson behind that. So in this channeling session, which is part 2, first of all, I want to talk about the narcissistic family template. Now, this is one of the most difficult things to deal with. And maybe the reason why there is this gap in all the, especially this channeling, I see this, it's like a trend. It's like it's happening since this channeling started coming to me, that you have to absorb it from all different levels. Like, first of all, why are you in a narcissistic template? The reason is that narcissism is self-centeredness. Narcissism is all about you. Now, when we talk about self-love, so you must have seen my information video on self-love also, and I have spoken about self-love. So self-love is a very important thing, but it should not be confused with self-loathing. Okay, and we always have to be in the middle. We can never be in the extremes. So when you're raised with narcissistic family templates, or family members, or narcissistic mother, or all of the people, because you being an empath, you would be obviously fewer in numbers. Maybe you would be an empath, or someone else would be an empath, and they would probably support you and help you in this journey in some way or the other without even knowing it. But all the rest are going to be narcissistic people, and that's why all of them get along so well. It's like they all get along, they're always having their parties, they're always having discussions, they're always having their talks, and when you enter the room or when you're present, they will all be quiet, or you will feel this very judgmental, very heavy energy towards you. It's obviously not easy to survive in that type of template, and that's why you will also come across people who probably had depression or anxiety or some kind of mental disorder within the family. And it could be a huge family, it could be a small family. In most cases it's a huge family, or there are people who are spread around here and there. So that is because all those people were also empaths, but they were not strong enough to take it, or the programming that they went through was so damn deep that they actually got consumed by it, So whose fault is it? It's because people or children who are raised by narcissistic people, they will either become like them, or else they will have a lot of pressure because they have to continuously please those people, the narcissistic people. It's like you have to keep telling them something good about you all the time so that they acknowledge you or they appreciate you. And then that becomes a sort of pattern. So it could be for some people very subtle. For example, they have to do a lot of hard work in order to gain some position, some status in the family. So they will do a lot of hard work because they think in their heads, they have been told that if you don't do this type of hard work, you cannot make money. Most importantly, no one is going to respect you. Or they have to choose a profession, or they have to do something that they don't like, but the narcissistic people like in the house, in the family. They may not agree with your choice of profession, but what you love, but they will tell you that you should do this, you should do that, because they like it and they prefer it. According to their status and their stature in society, it goes well with them. So for the divine feminines, it takes many years to figure this out. Because for a long time, she even thinks that her DM is narcissistic. That could also play out. You would feel that he's such a big narcissistic person that I have to deal with. And when you find out that narcissism is not something that can be cured, it can never be changed, it can never be healed, you would then be in another level of shock. Now, once you know that someone is narcissistic, you also know that there is a template like this and this is what it does, you would definitely not have any liking towards narcissistic people because they have given you so much pain. In fact, all your life. For some people, they figure it out when they're 20, for some 25, for some 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, so on and so forth. So you feel that all these years of my life got completely wasted because I had to please a bunch of people who can never get pleased. Like, let's put it that way. Even if you bring the sun and the moon to their feet, they will not get pleased. They never get pleased, no matter what you do. That is a given. So you have to learn to find your balance, because even you have to work on yourself, because the only way narcissism or narcissistic people can be treated is by silence. Now, this silence is given to you by your divine masculine also. Don't forget that, okay? Though I have said, and there has been a complete series, a complete channeling on this, that you are also wrong, then let me tell you why you are wrong, where you were wrong, okay? And where is any divine feminine, where was she wrong? Even I come to that category because at one point of time, I was also behaving like that, and that's how I learned, that's how I reached here. So there is no big deal. But what is important is that once you know, once you find out, then you must fix it. Then you must change it. Otherwise, it will continue. The biggest thing is that you don't need attention from anyone. You don't need validation from anyone. You don't even need to share with anyone. You don't even need to talk to anyone. Let's put it like that. Now, you would say, what do you mean? Yes, when you are dealing with narcissistic people, it's best to have minimum conversation or communication possible. Do not share anything with them. Do not share about your life, about your choices, about your talks, nothing. Keep to yourself. If you really want to practice silence, which you can otherwise practice in an ashram, or you can do a silent retreat, probably I would say it's easier to practice silence in silent retreat, but it's difficult to practice it when you're with your narcissistic bunch of people. Why? Because you have gotten used to share with them, talk to them, take their validation. And the thing is that even if they are nice to you for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, they will, when they end the conversation, they will either get up from there, they will give you a cold shoulder, they will not let you complete what you want to say, or they will listen to you in such a manner that they will make you feel that they're doing a favor by listening to you. But if they have to talk to one another in their own, company when they are happy, they can talk to each other for hours. They can sit in a closed room for hours, for day and night. You will actually feel this, that they love each other so much. They are all full of hugs and kisses and cuddles and, going out and talking to each other, calling each other. But why is it that they don't do it with me? Why do they treat me like an outsider? And the word that was coming again and again in part 1, but I did not use it in part 1 because I was again divinely guided to use it in part 2. The word that is very important in this channeling is orphan. So when you're living with a bunch of people who are all narcissistic, or the main person on top of you who gave birth to you, or who raised you for that matter, if not gave birth to you, but raised you, maybe a stepmom, maybe a grandmother, or maybe, your father got divorced and that's a stepmom, but while your mom is alive, then too you can have a stepmom. And she could have more power in your life or more hold in your life. So on and so forth. I mean, there are many scenarios that can play out. So this feeling of being orphan was always there, but the word was never there. Now, it's very important in healing also. When we do healings, we make people explain the feelings. That is because it's very important to reach to a conclusion that this is exactly what it is. Now, I'm going to give an example which would be a little different, but when you must have seen movies about exorcisms, when the holy people expel bad entities or demonic entities from someone's body, when they do the process of exorcism on possessed people, at that time also they ask the demons to give the names. Because when they have the name, it's very easy for them to cast them out or expel them out from there. Same is with healing. So finally, after so many years, she has finally understood that all this time, all this while, the feeling she had was of being an orphan. Now, it's very important for all of the divine feminines to actually figure out that why are they feeling, because technically they do have people around them, so it's even more difficult. If you're actually an orphan, if someone is an orphan, then they can still cope up with it better. Though for me, all of the things that happen to us in life are the same. Someone can have parents and still feel like an orphan, like how it happens in Twin Flame Ascension journey. And someone doesn't have any family, then too they have this feeling. But they can digest it faster than others because they have been told, or they understand that, okay, this has happened to me. That's why people who don't have anyone, they are much more smarter and much more independent. So this is exactly what the divine feminines have to figure out, that their frequency doesn't match with the people around. Maybe after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, because their ascension and their inner work will have some impact. If not now, then later on. Sooner or later it will have some impact, if not now. Because, once she leaves the group or once she walks away from them energetically, even if you're physically in the same house or living with the same people or meeting them daily, then also you have to find out a mechanism, you have to find out a way that you don't involve with them at all. So that will only happen when you're emotionally independent. So in those cases, even if you're talking to them, it would be more of formality, and it won't be like because you want to get validation from them or you want to get acknowledgement from them, that's why you're talking. When you talk to them, when you heal yourself, after you're healed, you talk to them without any expectations. So basically you have to be like the stone cold heartless brute. Now if you remember, there was a channeling like that where divine masculine was thinking that she is like that. Now why this happened with him, now let me tell you why this happened with him, why he felt like that, and why the divine masculines feel that the divine feminines don't care for them, is because this is another form of defense mechanism or coping up that the divine feminines have learned over the years. They pretend to be cold and they pretend to be heartless because they want to protect themselves from getting heartbroken. But actually, this is something that she should apply with those people who have done her wrong. But since she does not differentiate between who are her real people and who are not, she applies this while she is on the testing phase for the divine masculine. Because you all know, though you are in the separation phase now, so you may not be aware of this right now, but you should be. That is why you are on this journey. You should be aware about everything. There was a time when you were testing the divine masculine also a lot. You were not very sure. It's only when you start doing the research work, when you're in the separation, or for some people the research work happens much earlier, or for some it happens during false twin itself. So whatever the case is, then you realize that, okay, I was testing this person. So because I was testing, I was not 100% myself. I was not giving him all the love that he deserved. So there was some sort of, cold attitude towards me. Now this is the cold attitude. This is the stone cold attitude that she actually should show towards the narcissistic people. Okay. And then once she knows, it's not like you're taking revenge from them. It's not like you're getting even with them. No. Because in this journey, we don't blame anyone. They are narcissistic because of the karmic debts they have. Or their souls are weak because that's how they are designed. And with time, they should also learn to develop their skills so that they don't have to be like this. Most narcissistic people are living in a comfort zone. And living in a comfort zone is more difficult than living in a free zone, because the comfort zones are never comfortable. But this is something that they do not understand. They don't know this. The only coping mechanism they know is that they stay in the group, and they stay in the pack, and all of them are like that. And when there is one empath or anyone, they find it like this person is wrong, so let's mend this person. with time, gradually you will learn, and you will learn how to handle them, you will learn how to talk to them, because your expectations with them will get over. You will no longer have those things that they will have my back, they will support me, they will stand by me, and most importantly, they will understand me. Because with experience, the DFs know that they will never understand you no matter what you do. So it's better to not seek any understanding from them. You should simply not share anything with them wherever your emotions are involved. Emotional support and connect can never come from them. Yes, it is shocking to see that they give that support to one another, within themselves they do it. But you are the only person who doesn't receive it from them. It's because you're different. And being a star seed, your divine mother is actually the person whose DNA you have. So your DNA is a higher number of DNA, And there are different types of star seeds also. So their DNA activation the process is such that they have to eventually find a way to create their own energy and depend on their own energy. And this should not come from the feeling of self-loathing. Rather, it should come from self-love, where the self does not mean you are the only self. The self is you and the source, because the source resides in every person, everybody. The only thing is that you want to recognize the source or not. That is where the whole thing is. So most star seeds grow up in a format that they feel a lot of stress. And that stress eventually, once the stress becomes too much, when they cannot handle it, because their DNA has a higher vibration, higher frequency, it will create, problems later on. And there will be, during this inner work journey, there will be aches and pains throughout different parts of the body. So as and when each and every thought pattern or this happens during the activation of DNA, by the way, that when you are purifying and you're releasing the blocked energy, which is otherwise vibrating on a lower frequency, which is a 3D frequency, and then you're moving to 4D, 5D, 6D, so on and so forth, 7D, 8D also for some people, then you will feel those pains. And as you keep releasing those areas, you keep doing inner work, those pains and aches will reduce, and then they will vanish into thin air. And these are the things, especially intolerance. You will not feel like tolerating all this negative attitudes towards you, the negative behavior, this feeling that you're an orphan, you don't belong in here, we don't need you, you're just too clingy, you're just attaching too much. And that's your, you also have to work on yourself in those areas, that you feel sick, that why am I going up to them all the time? You have to reach to that phase. Why am I going up to them for attention? Why am I doing this? Why can't I be independent? Why can't I be self-dependent? So you will not have friendships, because understand, if you look at all the narcissistic people around you, even though they maintain that they don't have any friends, but they always have lots of friends. They're very long standing relationships, they have long bonds. So the same people who live with you, who think that you are basically just not the right type of a person, and you need to do this, you need to do that, you are lonely, you're alone, you don't have any friends, but they will always have lots of friends. Like if you have one sibling, two siblings, three siblings, or you have stepsisters, stepbrothers, you will see that they are very congenial and they have many friends and they talk to many people, and it's like, okay, they are so happening and popular. Even the narcissistic mother will always have many friends, and many people will know her, many people will hang out with her. But you would be like a completely alone person. And most of the times, be it the relatives, be it the neighbors, be it anywhere, wherever they have a hang or control, you will be seen like the bad child, the wrong child, the child who is good for nothing, the child who's a loser, The child who probably is talented and probably good looking, has some good qualities, but doesn't know how to put her act together, and she's always so clumsy and always, like that feeling that you're a useless person. They might have even used this word during fights, like you're a useless person. And these are the things that give a soul shock. I said soul shock. Nice tongue twister. A soul shock to the divine feminine, because she would be fed up of listening to this. Always calling her useless, always calling her like, treating her like a loser, never being there for her, always giving her a cold shoulder even when she's crying, even if she's feeling lonely. And despite all her hard work and despite all her love, all her compassion, all her attempts of being there for everyone, she's always told that, you just stay away. And also, a lot of secrets are kept away from her. Everyone is having a group dynamic or a group discussion, but she's out of the group. She's standing alone. So there are no friends outside, because they always tell her that you can't make friends, you can't trust people, even though they will have lots of friends. They will go out, they will do all the things, but if you will, and obviously there will be problems between friends and whatever relationships, that will also be used against you. That, look, you don't make any friends, you look at your relationships, if you were so intelligent, so good, things would not have happened to you like this. So these are the times when divine feminine needs to be very aware, because they will also have problems in their own relationships, but they don't see it, they don't want to see it, they don't want to talk to it. So when you are ascending, you will make them realize, knowingly or unknowingly, that look, you are not perfect either. Probably you're worse, but I never judged you, but you do judge me all the time. So the most important takeaway from this particular part 2, is that, first of all, yes, I also want to tell this to people, that don't make your complete conclusion after listening to one part. You have to listen to all the parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have to make a conclusion at the end of it. So nevertheless, the conclusion of this particular part, and I will continue in part 3, is, first of all, you have to stop depending on them. You have to really become self-independent. So your energy will come from the source, and you don't have to discuss anything with anyone. You just do your thing. Start following your intuition, because all star seeds and all the people who are on the ascension journey, they have to revive their intuition. The intuition is connected to your third eye. The more you will be intuition based, the more you will be, connecting with higher energies, the angels, the guides, the masters, the more information you will receive. So it's very, very important to be a person who's independent, who does not go up to them. So you have to practice silence. You have to learn to practice silence. You have to preserve your energy when you're doing your own work. When you're dealing with them, you don't have to do anything. You have to be emotionless. And this is not from the standpoint that you have to get into the blame game energy. That is even worse energy to be in, or the revenge energy. Just know that the more you will involve yourself with them, even if you want to do good for them, or even if you care for them, but they will not see it like that, and at the end you will feel like some amount of energy has gone out. So you need to regain all of the energy that you have sent out in all of these years, so that you come to your natural purest form, which you were when you were getting born on planet Earth, or you were in the womb. From the beginning stage, you have to actually be that person. That person, you have to come to your soul self, you have to come to your spirit self, and that is also how, being on planet Earth, you will be ascending from 3D to 4D to 5D to other subtler body forms. All of that will come to play. So I'm going to end the channeling here, not the whole channeling, the part 2. I will meet you in part 3 now. One love and peace out.